So if you haven't already heard, in Florida, there was a truck driver named Harjinder Singh. He was operating a commercial semi-truck with a trailer on the Florida Turnpike in Fort Pierce, which is about 50 miles north of West Palm Beach. And on August 17th, he attempted a U-turn in an unauthorized area on a turnpike. That's a freeway for those of us that live on the West Coast. A minivan in the neighboring lane was unable to avoid the truck's trailer and slammed into it, and it killed all 3 people on board. Unfortunate. And after this happened, Harjinder fled to California, where he was arrested, and it was such a big deal in Florida that Florida's Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins personally escorted him back to the state on Thursday. Since then, more than 2.65 million people have signed a petition asking DeSantis to commute any possible sentence. No, he killed 3 people. And it looked like he showed absolutely no remorse when it happened. He's on camera looking at the accident when it happened, and he looked like he had a dead look in his eyes, a blank stare. Now, that's just from one view, and it wasn't a full camera thing. Don't know how he's reacted so far. But that picture, look, what do they say? Perception. Perception is reality. But the other thing is he fled to California. Now, this is a tragic accident. It was not a deliberate act, is what they're saying. While accountability matters, the severity of the charges against him does not align with the circumstances of the incident. We'll get into that. This is a person by the name of Manisha Kaushal. They started the petition under the name Collective Punjabi Youth. By granting clemency, you would reaffirm the value of proportional justice, the power of community advocacy, and the potential for rehabilitation. So we should just allow anyone that can't pass road tests or English language comprehension tests a license. But we already do that in California, so it doesn't matter, I guess. So we should just continue doing that and seeing how many more tragedies happen. So signatures on change.org also argued that the incident was a terrible mistake, evidenced by Singh's clean record and full cooperation with the authorities, except for when he fled to California to avoid being arrested. He made a deliberate choice to make a U-turn in the middle of a freeway. He lied to get into the States. He cheated or had someone take his test for him to get his California or commercial driver's license from California and Washington. So another one is 45 years of imprisonment. Another person from Canada wrote, "Is it fair for a young boy who left his home country to have a bright future support family? No. Is it fair that he left his home country to be here illegally, to cheat the system, get a CDL when he should have never had one, and kill 3 people because he didn't know the basics of driving or reading comprehension? Absolutely not. 45 years? I don't know if 45 years is extreme, but he killed 3 people. So there. Singh's family in India has also spoken since the news of his arrest, calling for him to receive a more lenient sentence. He's 28 years old, and if he gets 45 years of jail, then you can imagine what will be the condition of his family. He committed a serious offense. Meanwhile, a counter petition set up by a self-styled Heritage American truck driver calling for the deportation of Singh's supporters proposed a commutation, and that garnered almost 20,000 signatures. The Department of Homeland Security said Singh obtained a commercial driver's license in California, which is one of 19 states, along with the District of Columbia, that issue licenses regardless of immigration status, according to the National Immigration Law Center. During FMCSA's interview with the driver, investigators administered an English language proficiency assessment in accordance with the FMCSA guidance. The driver failed the assessment, providing correct responses on 2 of 12 verbal questions and only accurately identifying 1 of 4 highway traffic signs. Additional preliminary findings include, on July 15th in 2023, Washington State issued the driver a regular full-term commercial driver's license. Asylum seekers or individuals without legal status are not eligible for this type of license. On July 23rd of 2024, which is about a year later, California issued him a limited-term non-domiciled CDL. FMCA is investigating the issuance of this license to determine whether it was issued in accordance with federal regulations. The New Mexico State Police conducted a roadside inspection of the driver and issued a speeding ticket, but there is no indication that an ELP assessment was administered. New Mexico had not yet begun enforcing ELP as an out-of-service condition, despite the requirement being in effect since June 25th, about a week before. Supporters of the legislation says it lets people work, visit doctors, and travel safely. I can't speak tonight. DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said issuing a commercial driver's license to someone in the U.S. illegally is asinine. California Governor Gavin Newsom, in all of his brilliance, responded to McLaughlin on X, arguing that Singh obtained a work permit during President Donald Trump's first term. What does this have to do with him getting a CDL in California? Absolutely nothing. In the aftermath of the crash, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the U.S. will pause issuing work visas to some foreign truck drivers. By the way, here are the requirements for getting a commercial driver's license in California. You must first obtain a commercial learner's permit by passing a knowledge test, then complete a skills test after holding the CLP for 14 days. The key requirements include a non-commercial California driver's license, proof of identity and residency, completion of a medical exam, passing a knowledge and skills test, and attending a truck driving school to learn the necessary skills. Proof of residency. Let me see here. California issued the driver a limited term non-domiciled CDL. They still gave it to him. You must be at least 18 years or older for interstate driving, or 21 for interstate driving. You also need to provide proof of California residency, which non-domiciled. Get a non-commercial Class C driver's license before starting the CDL process. You have to have a standard Class C driver's license. Complete the CDL application and a medical exam. And have a medical examiner certificate. You have to go to a local DMV office to submit your application. Provide documents such as your 10-year history record, or Form DL-939, if applicable, and pay the application fee. Take and pass the required knowledge tests at the DMV to receive your CDL permit, or CLP. Enroll in a truck driving school or community college program to receive behind-the-wheel and classroom training. You have to hold the CLP for 14 days before you can take the skills test. And after gaining experience with your CLP, schedule and pass the required skills test, which includes a vehicle inspection and road test. Upon successfully passing the skills test, you will receive your commercial driver's license. How did he pass all this stuff without knowing any of the laws or the signs? Which tells me that someone else took it for him. But that's hearsay. That's supposition. In Washington, to get a CDL, you must be 18 years old, establish residency, and make an appointment to the Department of DOL, or I guess it's their version of the DOT, for a knowledge test, again, which he failed. You'll receive a commercial learner's permit and need to complete training, pass your knowledge and skills test, again, which he failed, for your desired class of license, and then receive your official CDL from a licensing office. You have to complete a Department of Transportation physical and self-certify the type of driving you will do. You have to make an appointment at a driver's licensing office for the knowledge test for your specific vehicle type. Pass the knowledge test. You got to get your commercial learner's permit, just like in California. Pass the required training. Pass the CDL skills test. After passing your knowledge and skills test, you will be issued your official commercial driver's license. You will need to make an appointment for testing and for the final CDL issuance. There are costs associated. For some training programs, you may need to submit your training certificate to the Department of Licensing for approval. DLL, Department of Licensing. Okay. So again, he cannot pass any of these skills. He cannot pass any of the language tests. How was he able to do this in both Washington and California and get his CDL? And the other thing is again, he fled to California after the accident in Florida. And then the lieutenant governor of Florida flew out to bring him back home. This is a massive problem. And I don't understand why people have to pretend to protect people like this. Stop protecting people like this. He's a danger. If anything, send him back home. Make sure he can't come back into the United States. It's ridiculous. This shit is ridiculous. Stop protecting people that cause problems. I live in California. I'm stupid. I'm arguing logic. Sorry.